You guys already know, we talk about Via Hemp all the time. We absolutely love this brand. Whether you're looking for something to take the edge off, or help you get better sleep, or help ease some chronic pain, Via Hemp has a product for you. They are the only edible company that we use. Their products taste just like candy, so you don't get any nasty aftertaste. Via legally ships nationwide, discreet, direct to your door, no medical card required, and backed by a worry-free guarantee. So if you're 21 and up, treat yourself to Via's annual Spring 420 sale. Black Friday level savings up to 35% site-wide right now. Up to 50% off packs and bundles, and get a free gift and more savings with your first order over $50 using our code WIFEOFCRIME1. Go to viahemp.com and enjoy free shipping on orders over $50. That's viahemp.com/wifeofcrime1. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, on our show, we talk a lot about red flags, the warning signs we wish people had paid attention to. But lately, I've been thinking, what about green flags? What are the signs of a healthy friendship or relationship? For me, it's feeling safe to set boundaries, being able to speak honestly without fear, and having someone actually listen, not just hear you, but truly see you. Those are the kind of connections we all deserve. And sometimes therapy can help you figure out what those green flags actually look like and how to recognize them in your own life. BetterHelp is a great place to start. It's online, super flexible, and designed to fit around your schedule. If you've ever felt stuck in an unhealthy pattern or want to build stronger relationships, therapy can help. So discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Head to betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 for 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 for 10% off your first month.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all, and neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So, Russ, we've talked about many times on the podcast how you are just the nod and wave type of neighbor. You always keep your distance. But the truth is, for all of us, we don't actually know what's going on behind our neighbor's door. Our interactions may be small and meaningless to us, but to them, it can mean so much more than we ever realize. This is the case of the psycho next door, Stephen McDaniel. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wife of Crime, a true crime podcast where I tell my husband, Russ, true crime stories, and he reacts to them.
What's up, folks? It's your boy, Russ, a.k.a. I'm finally famous,
Oh.
a.k.a. Cash Me Outside.
Yes, we definitely felt famous on July 4th.
We met a listener that recognized us in the street.
Yes.
Which for the first time. So what up to you, Marsha?
Yeah, we were at
And her husband was like, he was looking like, come on, man. Like, you really have to stop and talk to these people.
We were at a 4th of July parade in our neighborhood, and we were just sitting there talking. We were hanging out with Rachel, a.k.a. Russ's PT, who we've talked about many times on the show. And Marsha, who was one of our listeners, recognized us and came up to us and talked to us, and we were all so excited. I was actually like she was laughing because she was kind of fangirling a little bit. I was laughing because I've never been recognized by a stranger. Yeah. And so this was like really surreal to me, and I didn't know what to do. Marsha, by the way, we didn't get your IG handle, so you got to send us a DM on Instagram. But it was really funny and cool.
Being from New York, we always feel like we're famous anyway, and people are looking at us. But we have met other people from the pod that I did not know, but it was always through someone that like a family member told someone, and they're like, "Hey, are you Russ?"
Yeah. It's
And-
people who know us personally who tell other people.
Yeah, like 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon, or however many degrees it is. It's like they're a few degrees through Wife of Crime.
Yeah. But this was a totally random person who just found us on Apple Podcasts.
And good thing she ain't kill us.
So shout out to you, Marsha. Thanks for making my day because you made me feel so special, and definitely hit us up on Instagram. So I wanted to take a quick moment to tell all of our Texas listeners that we're sending you so much love, and we are so sorry about the flooding and the devastation that happened down there. I mean, everything going on down there is so sad with the girls at Camp Mystic and everything. So we are sending you so much love. And, you know, we have a lot of Texas listeners, and just know that you are in our thoughts and we're thinking about you, and we love you guys.
That shit is wild.
It is.
When I think of a flash flood and people getting hurt, I always think like, how? Like, because I never actually like watched one on TV.
Yeah.
But I watched, like, some of it popped up on YouTube or something. I was like, holy shit, that was like a tsunami.
Yeah, it happens so fast.
So like, I'd be fucked
Like,
now.
they didn't have any warning. Like, there wasn't enough warning. I mean, I did listen to this thing about, like, the National Weather Service did put out flash flood warnings, but that area has gotten floods many times. They weren't expecting it to be this big, this fast.
Hey, I always see flash flood warnings from like when there's a thunderstorm coming, and I'm always like, get this noise off my phone.
Yeah, but like,
I don't even pay attention. I saw
it's crazy.
an entire house float away.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah. So it's just
So
really sad.
I hope you guys, piece back together the parts of your life you can, and stay strong. I don't really know what to say.
Yeah, I'm just know that
I really just hope everyone's safe.
we love you guys, and if you lost anyone that you care about, we're so sorry. But the whole thing was crazy.
All right. So as we all know, in Jess's past life, she was a dancer.
Yeah.
So this story made me think of Jess.
Not a stripper, just so everybody knows.
No, not a
like
stripper.
like an actual dancer, ballet, jazz, modern, hip hop.
Yeah. So this made me think of you. So you know that song, Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay?
Yes.
That guy got sentenced, the singer got
Mhm.
sentenced to 30 years for killing his cousin.
Wow, his cousin?
Yeah, and I don't know the rest of the story because that's all I need.
Okay.
What am I going to need to know? Like,
Well, now I gotta look it up. I'm interested to see why he would kill his cousin.
I kind of don't care. It's just more, this made me more think about you knowing every little kid dance in the world. Like, you could Superman that hoe.
I know
You
the
could
Soulja
lean
Boy
with it, rock
dance.
with
I know
it,
the lean
snap.
with. I know all of them.
She
It's
reminds me of, like, in the Bronx, the little 6-year-old black boys with the 6-pack abs doing these dances and having dance battles on the block.
I know how to walk it out.
These little black kids always got these damn 6-packs.
I know how to.
I'm so envious.
I know how to Harlem Shake. I know all the dances. I know how to crip walk. I know how to do. I don't know. Name it. I know it.
So maybe, guys, if you hit Jess up enough, and I know some of you will, they're like, come on, we got to see you, Nene. She can do it all.
We were at Lou, the Chicken Parm King's wedding, and one of Russ's other friend's daughters, she knows all the dances. How old is she? She's probably like 7.
I don't know. She's a few feet tall. How many years is that?
She's like 6 or 7. She had me on the dance floor. I was sweating my ass off because she kept wanting me to dance with her, remember? And I was on the dance floor with her all night, and we were doing all the viral dances together. It was just me and her.
Jess's knees were probably creaking the whole time.
Yeah, I do know all. I'm like, you're a viral video connoisseur. I'm a viral dance connoisseur.
The thing is, how much time did you spend in your living room practicing all these dances?
No, I pick it up fast.
Nah.
I do.
You was practicing.
Nah, bro, I pick it up fast. I do. So this month on the Patreon, we watched and reviewed A Deadly American Marriage. And the patrons were like super into this one, and they recommended it. So many of them recommended it. And I'm really glad they did, because it was a really good documentary. It's a new one on Netflix. It's only 1 episode, which we know Russ loves.
I forgot what it was about.
My gosh, seriously, we watched it the other day.
I know, like, if I saw the preview, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I saw
The Irish guy who married the nanny, they moved to America, the kids were in it.
Doesn't ring a bell.
The dad came in, and the Irish man died because the dad hit him with a bat.
Ring a little bit. I might have to subscribe to Patreon so I can listen to the episode.
So ridiculous. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I kind of do. Oh, wait. The dad hit him with the... Yeah. It just all clicked. I'm not going to say it because so they could go listen to the episode.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen that documentary, go check it out. It's a really good documentary. It's only one episode, so it's not a lot of fluff. And I'm super curious to hear what everybody thinks about this lady Molly, who is what the person that the documentary centers around.
Pop the Molly, I'm sweating.
So that's what we did for Patreon this month. So definitely go check it out if you're interested. And Russ has the patron shout out.
Also, it's kind of like a club over there. And you don't got to listen to commercials either, but shout out to our commercials.
Yes, our commercialers.
Yeah. The people that give us the
our
commercials.
sponsors.
Yeah. So this week's Patreons are Angelica, Jay, Martina, Jenna, Cheryl, Kimisu, Jessica, Katie, Claire Witch Project, Faith, Gabrielle, Kimmy, Anisha, Jody, Hillary, Jessica, Lauren, Katie, Caroline, I think it's Jalapeno, and Sarah. So cheers to you guys.
Cheers, guys. I think Claire Witch Project is very clever. I love a good pun. So Claire, nice job with the pun. I thought that was really good.
You do love puns.
I do.
Even
I'm
ones that aren't
obsessed.
funny.
I'm literally obsessed with puns.
Literally. All right. So also my other job is to read reviews of the week. And I thought I screenshotted it. All right, here it goes. This one is from Sugar Toes. I don't know.
Sugar Toes.
Russ says thanks. 5 stars. I love poetry, but laughed out loud when Russ thanked Jess for not reading Bonnie's whole poem. Would that have been corn? Love y'all.
Oh, yeah, that's so funny.
I don't remember that.
That's from the Bonnie and Clyde episode, because Bonnie Parker was a poet.
And I said thanks for not reading it all.
Yeah, because I was going to read like a whole poem, but I only read a portion of it. And you said thanks for not reading the whole thing. Which is hilarious because Russ married a poet. Like, I'm a poet. And one of the first dates we ever went on was him coming to a spoken word event, and I was judging a slam, and it was one of our first dates, and I warned him ahead of time. I was like, hey, I'm judging a slam right now, but you can come down to the village. This is where I'm at. And he came, and Russ is like he's such a Bronx dude. He's just like such a Bronx guy. And so for him to be in this setting with a bunch of poets, it was hilarious.
And they really don't clap. They really snap. I thought that was only on Dave Chappelle. So when they did it, I started laughing. Because I was like, I thought that was like to be funny.
Yeah, no. So
they really snap.
It was funny. So it's hilarious that you didn't want to hear her poem, because I write poems all the time. I write poems when I'm mad at Russ, and then I perform them for him when I'm mad at him.
Like, you are an idiot.
He must think
I want to stomp your face in the dirt while the sun burns down on you. Shit like that.
You must think I'm so weird. We really are such opposite people in some ways. It's really funny.
Well, I'll listen to your poetry. I don't really want to listen to other people's. I'll take interest in your life.
Yeah.
But
I appreciate
like some other people, like if you want to write a poem, like I get it, bro. Roses are red and violets are blue.
Okay. So growing up in New York City, you lived your entire life up until you met me in apartment buildings.
Yeah, true.
You feel safest in an apartment building, right?
Yeah, because no one can climb through your window, and the doors are normally stronger, I feel. Because I remember when I was young, someone tried to kick our door open.
Oh.
And they couldn't do it. And it was like big Italian, like mafia dudes.
Really?
So I guess I'll tell the story.
Okay.
My stepfather, when I was a kid, I was probably, I don't know, 8, 9.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little kid. I was just outside playing. And he used to drive a taxi. And he was a very flaky dude. And he kept the taxi. he never brought it back after work.
What?
Yeah, Zero's Cab Company up there in the Bronx. And they sent these big Italian mafia dudes.
Wow.
And they try to kick the door in and they're trying to get him. And I don't even think he was home. But I was outside and my mom was like looking out the window. She was in the house.
Wow. She must have been so scared.
Yeah. But so anyway, they couldn't kick open the door. The doors are just stronger.
Well, true. And that was like, I mean, those doors in those like in the housing buildings are really strong.
Oh, it's a fortress.
It is. It is like a fortress.
So I felt very safe because no one could get through your window either because I was on the 6th floor.
Oh, true. Yeah. Well, 56% of Americans don't know the names of more than one or two of their neighbors. And in apartment complexes, that number jumps even higher. You share walls, ceilings, floors. You hear footsteps above you, the hum of the TV next door, water running behind a thin drywall. Like, you can hear a lot in an apartment building. You know someone burns popcorn at least once a week, but their name, their story, usually you don't really know much about them.
No, thank you.
And you like it that way.
Yeah, I avoid eye contact. I hate even when someone gets in the elevator with me.
Well, a lot of us like it that way. A lot of us like that distance, the polite nods, the illusion of safety that comes with staying in your own bubble. But here's the thing. 1 in every 4 Americans say they've felt unsafe in their apartment at some point. And more than half say they've had at least one neighbor who gave them a weird or bad feeling. Because behind every door is a life you don't see. Habits, obsessions, secrets, and sometimes someone is paying attention to you, even if you don't realize it. Sometimes the person you barely notice, the one you pass in the hallway, the one who keeps to himself, is actually always watching you. And you don't even know it. Lauren Giddings didn't know it. She was the kind of person who made people feel seen. She was friendly, kind, warm to everyone she met.
There we go. You got to be a piece of shit. They leave them alone.
Even the quiet guy across the hall. She was wrapping up law school, prepping for her bar exam, and ready to start a new chapter of her life. But while Lauren was planning her future, someone else was planning something else entirely. This is the terrifying case of Lauren Giddings and Stephen McDaniel. Are you ready?
Yes.
The summer of 2011 was supposed to be a season of new beginnings for Lauren Giddings. She had just graduated law school from Mercer University in Macon, Georgia, and she was deep into studying for her bar exam. She was ready to launch this legal career that she had been so focused on for the last few years. Lauren was incredibly bright, friendly, and focused. She was one of those people who got along with everyone, and she kind of reminds me of me because I'm one of those people who gets along with everyone. It doesn't matter where you're from, your background, like I can find a way to relate to everybody, and I never have problems with people because I really do just get along with everyone.
Unless you're related to them.
Whatever. People described her as friendly with everyone and that she kind of always rooted for the underdog, and she was passionate about injustices. She was born and raised right here in Maryland, not far from where we sit right now. She was super close with her family, especially her sisters. She was the oldest of 3 girls, and she grew up in a normal middle-class home. She played high school sports, she was very driven, she got good grades, and she pretty much excelled in everything that she took on. She was accepted into law school at Mercer University in 2008 and moved from Maryland to Georgia. She lived in a quiet apartment complex, just across from the law school, a place where nothing much ever happened. But unfortunately, that would soon change. On June 25th.
Oh,
Oh, what day is that?
That's my birthday.
Yes, on June 25th, your birthday, Lauren was seen for what would be the final time. After that, the texts stopped. Her phone went silent. Days passed with no word. At first, friends and family assumed she was just really wrapped up in studying. She had the bar coming up in a few weeks, and she had warned everybody in her life that she would be really focused on that. She told them, like, listen, if you don't hear from me, that's what I'll be doing because I need to study my ass off for this. This is like, the big exam.
Yeah, that's it gets her life started once she passes.
Exactly, and that's all she would be doing. So for the first few days, that's what people assumed was going on. But, it's interesting because everyone was just assuming this simultaneously, that Lauren was just not answering them, but not realizing that Lauren wasn't answering anyone.
Damn.
And, if you text somebody and you never hear back from them, you don't assume something's wrong with them. You're kind of like, oh, maybe they just got busy or maybe they ignored my text or maybe whatever.
Depends on who it is. But in this, like if it's your mom, you're going to bug out or like people that respond quickly. Like
True.
my sister or you or, but in this situation, it just seemed like an inopportune time for something to happen to her because people are going to expect her to like not be responding.
Exactly. Yeah. People just expected that she would kind of be MIA for a little bit because she'd be studying so hard.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until Lauren's best friend, Katie, reached out to Lauren's sister on June 29th and said, hey, I haven't heard from Lauren in a few days. Have you? And her sister said, no, I haven't either. And that's when people started connecting the dots. Her sister remembered a conversation the two of them had a few weeks before. Lauren had just come home from a trip, and she told her sister that she was a little freaked out when she got home because she thinks some things in her apartment had been moved around, which is so scary. But also, you don't want to believe it, so you rationalize it.
Yeah, because I have a bad memory, so I definitely would be like, I just moved it and forgot. And you, please. Everything in this house is missing. Even if it's in front of your face, it's missing. If I put something down, it's going in a drawer or in a pile, and I'm never going to see it again.
So that's what Lauren did. She kind of she was freaked out at first, but then she rationalized it. And she was like, you know what? Maybe I just put it in a different spot, or maybe I thought it was here, but it really wasn't. But she did get weirded out by it. By June 30th, her friends were super concerned. She was due to move out of her apartment that day, but no one had seen or heard from her in almost a week.
Well, now it's time to go in the apartment.
So her friends knew where she kept a spare key, and they decided to open the apartment door. Her wallet, her keys, and her phone were all still inside, but the door was locked from the inside. Nothing seemed out of place.
Fire escape?
Nope, no fire escape. Her car was even still in the parking space outside, but Lauren had vanished. Her friends looked at her recent emails and texts. She hadn't sent one in days. The last email she sent was to her boyfriend, and it said that she thought someone had broken into her apartment the Thursday before she went missing. So her friends called the police. When police showed up and started searching as well, neighbors began to gather outside. Among them was a guy named Stephen McDaniel, a classmate of Lauren's, and her next-door neighbor.
McGuilty.
He was a lanky, awkward guy, known for being a bit strange. As local news reporters arrived on the scene, McDaniel even gave an interview, standing just feet from Lauren's front door. At first, he appeared a bit nervous, but composed. He kind of talked a lot to the reporter. Then right there in the middle of the interview, the reporter mentioned that a body had just been found nearby. It was breaking news, and Stephen's reaction was immediate. He gasped, he stumbled, and he whispered, I think I need to sit down.
Oh, shit.
The clip aired on the evening news and later went viral. But what viewers didn't know at the time was that they were watching Lauren's killer get taken completely off guard. They were watching a man who thought he had gotten away with murder come to the realization that he didn't. and his downfall was coming. Because right then, during the interview, police made a horrifying discovery in a garbage can outside of the apartment building. A woman's torso wrapped in plastic.
This motherfucker thought that was a good spot, like he wasn't going to get caught, and he's talking to the reporters and shit. So not only is he a murderer, he's an idiot.
Well, the reason he thought it was a good spot is because the garbage men were supposed to come earlier that day and take it to the landfill. You know, he would have gotten away with it.
But they called out sick.
No, they were running late. Their route was running late that day.
This is why we're in the Matrix. This is why I believe we're in a computer simulation, because how is that a coincidence?
Yeah.
The one day.
The one day. It's pretty wild. So it was later confirmed to be Lauren's torso. Her arms, legs, and head were still missing. The search for a missing person had now become a murder investigation.
Yeah, Lauren was my neighbor. We're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I mean, the last time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and no one's heard from her since.
Did you see her hang out with anyone at the time, anything like that?
I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I haven't seen anything. I mean, you always hear noise outside, but it's just people walking by pretty much.
And she just recently graduated from Mercer?
Yeah, she and I were both JD students. We graduated back in May.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see her?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is. I mean, the only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her. Because, I mean, we went over, one of her friends had a key, we went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss, but, I mean, she had a door jamb that was sitting right by it, so there was no sign that anyone broke in. I mean, the door was locked when everyone got here. I mean, we just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of, I think that's where they had recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's how we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so that was his initial interview when he found out that the body was found.
That's crazy. He looked like he was about to faint.
Yeah, he literally repeated a body. Like it hit him right then. Like, oh shit.
It looked, like he was getting tunnel vision. Like things were closing in on him.
Mm-hmm. What did you notice about him during this interview?
That he had the same hair as like your mom in the 80s.
Okay. What I noticed is that he kept trying to say we. All right.
He was down with. He was acting like he was down with her friends.
Exactly.
He wasn't like part of their friend group.
No, he was not.
And he was very talkative. I thought he didn't talk.
Yeah, he was very talkative. He was trying to say, we did this. We searched her apartment, taking the focus off of himself.
He also was trying to state all the reasons that nothing's wrong. The door was locked. We went inside. So like he went inside with them to make sure like his tracks were covered. It seemed like he was trying to convince everyone, see, nothing's wrong here.
And he said, she's as nice as can be. The thing that must have happened is maybe she went for a run and someone snatched her. I mean, he's trying to set up another narrative. Have you ever had one of those days where everything just feels off? Like lately, you've been doing everything right, eating healthy, working out, and yet your energy still crashes. Or you get these mood swings completely out of nowhere. Well, I've definitely been there. And something I discovered is that a lot of these issues could be tied to hormonal imbalances. Happy Mammoth is a forward-thinking wellness brand that specializes in creating natural health solutions with a strong focus on gut health and hormone balances. They created a product called Hormone Harmony. This supplement is perfect for women of all ages who struggle with life-disrupting symptoms from PMS, menopause, racing thoughts, low moods, poor sleep, occasional bloating and gas, and even low libido. This product is so popular with women that there is a bottle of Hormone Harmony sold every 24 seconds. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use promo code wifeofcrime1 at checkout. That's happymammoth.com. Use promo code wifeofcrime1 for 15% off today. It's summertime. And, we're all at the beach and the pool, and we're all becoming very acutely aware that we want to be summertime fine. Twice a year, people make promises to themselves to get healthy. Most people say it as a New Year's resolution, and then again in the summer. Well, if you're looking for healthy, clean eating and you don't feel like spending hours on the internet looking up recipes, you got to check out Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for clean eating. They make it super easy to spend less time in the kitchen and more time enjoying the summer, but still supporting your wellness journey. You can pick from Mediterranean, gluten-free, plant-based, and protein-heavy, even gut and brain health, and calorie-smart choices. So make this summer your healthiest yet with Green Chef. Head to greenchef.com/50wifeofcrime and use code 50wifeofcrime to get 50% off your first month and then 20% off for 2 months with free shipping. That's code 50wifeofcrime at greenchef.com/50wifeofcrime. So Stephen McDaniel grew up in Lilburn, Georgia, a middle-class suburb outside of Atlanta. There's nothing traumatic about his upbringing. It was just regular. But even early on, people noticed something was off.
That's why you never trust a grown man with a ponytail. Never.
Not violent or aggressive, just odd, socially stunted, and emotionally flat. Teachers and his peers described him as really intelligent, but detached a little bit. Not the kind of kid you connect with. More like one you avoid eye contact with in the hallway. He kept to himself. He wasn't known for having close friends. And he had this kind of emotionless, robotic way of talking most of the time, which in this interview he didn't. In this interview, he seemed a lot more engaged.
I felt like he was a little awkward, but...
Oh, yeah, definitely awkward, but more engaged than a robotic monotone, flat affect.
Yeah.
That people described him with.
You could tell he was a little weird.
Yeah, you can tell.
And the hair was a dead giveaway.
Well, Stephen ended up at Mercer University in Macon, Georgia, and he was in law school, and academically, he did all right. He wasn't a star student or anything.
C's get degrees, folks.
That's true.
When you go get a job, Jess used to always stress, I got a B. When you go apply for a job, no one's going to be like, what did you get in calculus?
That's true. I never took calculus. I wasn't smart enough for it.
Well, whatever class you took, listen, we're in the Bronx when we were kids, as long as we got that 65...
That's a D, bro.
D's get degrees. Throw some D's on it.
So he did okay academically, but he didn't really have any social connections in college either. He came off as extremely introverted and awkward, which some people just wrote off as, being a little weird, law school stress, coming of age. But looking back, there were a lot of red flags. So aside from being socially awkward with some incel energy and vibes, Stephen had a strange obsession.
Well, what was his hobbies?
With the zombie apocalypse. Now, on the surface, that doesn't sound like a red flag. Tons of people love zombie movies. We just saw 28 Years Later the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Love zombie movies, love zombie shows. Love the show Preppers, really into all that.
I want to be a doomsday prepper, but it just takes too much work. So if the world goes to shits, it's all over for me.
But Stephen took it to another level. He used to post on internet forums, like some dark corners of Reddit, where he'd talk in detail about survival tactics, prepping for the collapse of society, and what he'd do if the world turned into a lawless wasteland. He didn't just talk about surviving zombies. He talked about enjoying the idea of the lawlessness.
See, what most people fail to realize, if there was a zombie apocalypse, which, right now, nothing can turn to a zombie. I guess rabies is like the closest thing.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a zombie apocalypse, all these people preparing, most likely you're going to be a zombie.
Yeah, most likely.
Like, you're not going to be the one left.
Probably.
And how about, I never thought of this. I'm being a zombie in a wheelchair.
God.
Fuck. Or maybe I'll be army crawling all around trying to bite people's ankles.
Yeah, you will. You'll be like Ivar the Boneless
There they go,
as a zombie.
There goes the fucking army crawler again. Like, I'll leave him. He's harmless.
Oh, God. So he talked about enjoying the idea of lawlessness. No rules, no government, no consequences. It's clear in hindsight that Stephen wasn't interested in fighting zombies. He was fantasizing about a world where he could be free to act on his darkest impulses without getting caught. He even wrote a fictional story where the protagonist goes on a violent rampage during the zombie apocalypse. And in the story, the guy stalks, kills, and even mutilates people. So that fictional story was basically a blueprint for what he was going to do to Lauren. Stephen's obsession with a zombie apocalypse wasn't about zombies. It was about control. A fantasy where he could finally be powerful, respected, feared, where no one could stop him or hold him accountable. He saw the collapse of society as freedom, not from zombies, but from his own insecurity and powerlessness. And that's what makes it so disturbing. So when people say he snapped, it's not entirely accurate. Stephen didn't just lose control one day. He was planning something for a long time. The obsession with zombies was just one of many outlets for his violent fantasies. Stephen lived in the same apartment complex as Lauren, and he was her next-door neighbor. But Lauren was the complete opposite of Stephen in almost every way. She was bright, outgoing, and popular, not in a mean girl way.
Used hair products.
Yeah, she used hair products.
Probably.
She was pretty. She was popular, but not in a mean girl way. She got along with everyone, and she was just genuinely really nice to everyone, including Stephen. She had a solid friend group, a promising future, and a lot of charisma, and everybody really liked her.
That sucks. She probably was just nice to him in passing, like, hey, hello, like, how you doing?
Exactly. Stephen, meanwhile, was secretly obsessed with Lauren. We're not talking like a harmless crush here. We are talking full-blown stalking. He watched her through her windows. He read her emails by hacking her accounts.
Oh, shit.
Memorized her schedule. He used a master key for the building that he stole and copied and would go into her apartment and steal her pictures, her underwear, and he would even watch her sleep at night.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Get yourself some Ring cameras, folks. They're on sale. It's Prime Day.
He built an entire fantasy life in his head where he believed he had some kind of connection to her, but in reality, Lauren barely knew him. By 2011, Stephen was completely spiraling. He had no job lined up after graduation, no plans to take the bar exam, no real friends or support system. He was isolated, aimless, and fully consumed by his fantasy of Lauren. At one point, Stephen asked Lauren out, but she said no because she had a boyfriend.
Oh, shit.
This didn't sway Stephen, however. His obsession remained and even grew deeper. So there's no formal psychiatric diagnosis that has been released about him since this case happened. But people who've studied the case often point to narcissistic personality traits, deep-rooted insecurity, and the possibility that he was an actual psychopath.
Piece of shit. loser. We could find more adjectives to describe him.
So he lacked empathy entirely. He had no remorse and seemed incapable of genuine human connection. So police brought McDaniel in for questioning, not as a suspect yet, but as someone who might know something. They asked if he would be willing to allow them to search his apartment with his consent while he was present, and he said no. Everyone else in the complex said yes, because they had nothing to hide. Stephen said no, and he stumbled over his words, and he made some excuses about having a few guns, but the cop kept pushing. And finally, he said, no, it's the lawyer in me. I'm very protective of my space. So the detective shifted gears. What's that red mark on your nose there? He said. Or that scratch on your neck? Stephen got a bit fidgety and said, oh, that's just something I've been picking at lately. Finally, the officer went back to asking about the apartment search, and Stephen reluctantly agreed to the search. So while the cops were there, they didn't find Lauren, but they noticed that Stephen was acting super weird the entire time. He was sweating profusely, and he drank a total of 10 bottles of water while the cops were there.
He must have been going to the bathroom a lot.
After the cops left his apartment, Stephen made his way outside, and this is when he spoke to the reporter, the interview that I had just played for you a few minutes ago. Later that day, after his bizarre behavior while they were in his apartment and then the bizarre TV interview, the cops knew they had to interrogate Stephen. They just knew he was involved, so they brought him in. And what followed was hours of strange, emotionless behavior. His answers were flat. His body was stiff. And when the questions became more direct, he lawyered up. So the full 2-hour interrogation of Stephen is honestly pretty crazy. Not because he breaks down or confesses, but because he never cracks. The entire time, Stephen sits there, rigid, robotic, and emotionless. His voice stays flat. His face is completely blank.
He also is trained in law, so he knows what to say, what not to say, how to act, how not to act, don't act emotional. So maybe he was this way all the time, or maybe he was putting it on.
Yeah,
or was he
true.
putting it on in the interview, and in the interview, that was him being like outgoing and bubbly.
Exactly. So it's a very interesting case to psychoanalyze. Stephen McDaniel is an interesting character to really start to psychoanalyze, because when you see the interview, the TV interview, and then afterwards you see the interrogation, you see them back to back, it's wild how different they are and how different he's acting.
He also could be trying not to give them anything, though, in the interrogation.
True. Well, his voice stays flat. His face is completely blank. And no matter what the detectives asks, he answers in this slow, monotone voice that never changes. Even when they confront him with the fact that the body had been found, he shows no emotion. No shock, no tears, no anger. He doesn't ask questions. He doesn't even pretend to care. It's like they are talking to a wall. He just repeats, I don't know, I guess, like a broken record. There are long stretches of silence where he stares off into space. And when they ask him about Lauren, he calls her a friend. He says he wasn't in her room, but offers nothing meaningful. This video is completely opposite of the TV interview. And when you watch the videos back to back, it's pretty wild to see. So the full interrogation is 2 hours long, but I'm just going to show you a few clips so you get the idea.
Thanks.
That was a nice callback.
All right. I just got to ask you a few more questions. You came down earlier tonight, me and you talked, all right. You don't have any weapons on you, do you?
No.
That's just you are. What's wrong? You know I'm Detective Patterson, right?
Yes.
Do you remember? Put your hands up here. You remember us talking
Yes.
earlier tonight? Right?
Yes.
You remember me earlier in the day?
Yes.
When we came down here and talked a little bit and then we left?
Yes.
Okay. About this girl right here. You know her?
Yes.
Who is that?
Lauren Giddings.
Does she live next door to you?
Yes.
When's the last time you seen her?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Was you friends with Lauren?
Yes.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay? Was you friends with her?
Yes.
Close friends?
We were good.
I mean, y'all were friends, right? Both of
Yes.
y'all are law students. You're studying to be an attorney, right?
Yes.
What kind of law do you want to go into? Criminal law?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do for a living?
Yes.
Okay. And you've lived next to Lauren for a long time?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where she's at tonight?
No.
Hmm?
No.
Have you ever seen her with that dress on?
No.
You have no idea where she's at?
No.
Look. Just tell me what happened, brother.
I don't know.
Well, where's she at? I'm asking you for your help. I'm a detective, and I'm asking you for your help. Can you help me?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You can't help a friend out?
I don't know what you need.
I need to know where Lauren's at.
I don't know.
Do you even care that no one can find her?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, do you?
Yes.
I mean, earlier today, me and you sit here and talk normal. What's going on with you now? Why are you acting like this? I need to know. Why all of a sudden you're acting like this?
I don't understand.
Okay. Earlier today, we sat here and talked. But now you're acting like you don't know what's going on. I mean, did something happen or something to you? I mean, why are you shutting down? Why are you not talking to me?
I don't know.
You don't know? Are you scared?
No.
I need you to tell me what you want me to tell her mother. And then I want to ask you another thing. I'm not going to tell her mother that you don't know, because her mother saw you on the news tonight. And she cried all the way down to Macon. Because you had the balls to get on the news and tell everybody everything. So this little act that you're doing right now ain't working with me. Okay? So you can just snap out of it and tell me what the hell happened so we can move on.
I don't know.
Well, how many times you gonna say I don't know?
Okay, so his interrogation was 2 hours long. He sat in the same position the entire time without moving.
So far, he didn't move his hands, and we skipped through a few parts of it. The cop coming in, and his first question was, "What's wrong?" was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Bitch, I'm arrested for murder. And
Well, he hasn't been charged.
Well, then can he just leave? Can he be like, all right, am I detained? Or are you detaining me for nothing?
So, yeah, they haven't charged him with murder. He can lawyer up at this point. You know, they brought him in for questioning. He's a suspect, but technically he can lawyer up and he can stop answering questions. But he decides to sit there through this 2-hour interview. And instead of it lawyering up or saying that, you know, he wants his lawyer not to be questioned anymore, he does sit through this for 2 hours and speaks this monotone voice the entire time.
I think that this interrogation is probably very interesting to him coming out of law school. So I think that's why he's sitting through it. Like, this is like a game.
Maybe it is, yeah.
Yeah. And also, that chair of the policeman was screaming for its life. That big fat policeman, that shit was like that chair was strong and it was holding on.
I love how all
to the chair.
All of your commentary has nothing to do with the actual interrogation. It just has to do with all of these side things.
No, I did. I talked about how like he probably found it interesting.
No, that's true. You did. Well, you know, it's this...
respect to what chair is that? It's Prime Day. I need that chair. Me, Jess, Lucy, Tyson, We could all sit on that shit together.
Yeah. So the cops in this interrogation, like, this case has been studied numerous times because it's such a crazy case. And the cops have been criticized a lot about this interrogation. Some of the things they say, at one point later on in the interrogation, they insult him, they call him names, they cuss him out.
Look at your hair, bitch.
And it's not really effective when you're trying to get answers to start insulting people and calling them names, especially someone like him. So they have definitely been criticized a lot. But in the end, he never cracked. They never got anything from him. And eventually, after 2 hours, he asked for a lawyer. So without enough evidence to charge him with murder, investigators arrested him on unrelated burglary charges because he had been sneaking into other units in the complex with his master key.
Oh, shit. He was about to start a murder spree in the building.
While he sat in jail, detectives kept digging. And what they found was super disturbing. In Stephen's apartment, they discovered tons of evidence. Latex gloves, packaging identical to what had been used to wrap Lauren's torso. A stolen master key that gave him access to every apartment in the building.
Who did he steal it from? Probably the super?
From the super,
I wonder how he got it.
The super said in an interview, it was a woman who was like the manager of the building. In an interview, she said that she lost the key 3 years ago. So he took her key and made a copy and then threw the original one away so it didn't look the same.
Oh, shit.
But what truly unsettled the investigators was what was on his computer. Among his internet search history were violent fantasies, dark pornography, and disturbing forums discussing body disposal. There was even a document that described in first-person detail the act of murdering and dismembering a woman named Lauren. It read less like fiction and more like a confession because it's pretty much exactly what he ended up doing. They also found a flash drive that belonged to Lauren with hundreds of her photos on it.
Well, that's it. Now you're obviously guilty because there's only one way you could have got that.
They also found her underwear in his apartment. But the thing that really creeps me out is a long wooden pole with a camera duct taped to the top of it. And on the camera, they recovered a deleted video. And on this video is a view from the window filming Lauren in her apartment through the blinds on the night she was murdered.
Good thing this was before drones. This motherfucker would have had drones.
So he literally sat below her window
What a
with
weirdo.
with this camera on a pole and watched her. And in the footage, it's like looking through her blinds, watching her in her apartment the night she was murdered. I mean, that is like terrifying. In August 2011, Stephen McDaniel was formally charged with murder. Not only that, but during the search of his apartment, they found a flash drive full of disgusting images of sex acts with children.
Crazy.
Yeah. He initially pled not guilty. For 2 years, the case wound its way through the court system. But then in 2014, he finally confessed as part of a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. He admitted to everything, sneaking into Lauren's apartment while she slept, strangling her, dragging her body into the bathroom, and dismembering her over the next several days. He then disposed of her remains in multiple trash bins around the city, hoping that they'd never be found. And they never were. Her torso was the only thing found.
Wow.
Today, McDaniel is serving a life sentence in a Georgia prison. He won't be eligible for parole until he's in his 70s.
How is he even eligible?
Well, true. But even then, the chances are slim. He appealed his case in 2018, and he represented himself on claims of not consenting to the search of his apartment. It was denied. And then in 2022, he made a habeas corpus petition claiming ineffective counsel when he was first arrested. But there has not been any result of this petition. But it will likely not result in anything for him.
Good.
What makes this case especially crazy is how close the danger was. Lauren didn't fall victim to a stranger or a random act of violence. Her killer was the man living a few feet away. Someone she'd pass in the hallway. Someone she smiled and waved to. Someone who had been secretly watching her all along. Lauren Giddings was kind. She was smart. She was trusting. She was the kind of person who saw the good in everyone, even the awkward, quiet guy next door. She smiled at Stephen. She made small talk. She treated him like a human being. And while she was studying for the bar exam, dreaming about her future, he was watching, plotting, waiting. All the while, she had no idea.
And he was in some of the same classes as her.
They went through all of law school together and graduated together. So that's what makes this case so horrifying. The danger wasn't lurking in some alley. It wasn't hiding in a dark parking garage. It was next door, masked as quiet, invisible, and harmless. And that's the nightmare. That someone can look you in the eye and pretend to be your friendly neighbor and be building an entire fantasy around your existence, waiting for the right moment to take everything from you. Lauren did nothing wrong. She was simply kind to someone who didn't deserve her kindness. And the fact that Stephen McDaniel was able to take her life so brutally after she showed him humanity, that's the part that really sticks with me.
Mm-hmm.
But evil doesn't always look like a monster. We've seen this so many times in
Sometimes
our podcast.
it looks like what do they call that? A hairband guy. Remember, they had the
Oh, like the 80s hairbands?
Yeah, he looked like an 80s hairband guy.
True. Sometimes it looks like the guy who keeps to himself.
I don't trust someone who doesn't get haircuts.
Sometimes the scariest people are the ones who make sure you never even see them coming. And that's the case of the murder of Lauren Giddings. And it might make you look at your neighbors differently, because all I have to say is this case freaks me out. And knowing the details of the fact that he lived next door, and I'm one of those people who's nice to everybody. As a kid, I always took up for the kid being bullied. I've always been that person. I'm nice to everyone. The awkward people, I'm always going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But this case really freaks me out because she was just trying to be nice, and he built a whole fantasy world in his head about her. And that's so scary. And
I prefer if people just wave.
It really creeps me out, this case. It really creeps me out.
I'm a huge head nod guy. I give you a little head nod, hey.
Yeah. I thought you'd find this case interesting, not only because of his actions and how you can really psychoanalyze this kid, but also just the fact that you are not a very neighborly person.
So that means I'm going to survive. You did.
So.
Yeah, you kept me on my toes.
Yeah.
I haven't been on my toes in a minute.
Oh, God, Russ.
But,
I can't with you. Stop. You always take me off guard with these jokes. Yeah.
Oh, that was a new one.
That wasn't new.
I didn't have it planned. It just popped in my head.
I just always feel uncomfortable laughing at them, even still. I laugh still, but I'm still a tiny bit uncomfortable laughing.
It's crazy how uncomfortable that makes you, being that you'll just yell at me anytime and reprimand me. And how does that make you uncomfortable?
Because you're still my husband. You're still annoying. Your mouth still runs. Okay?
Guys,
your mouth wasn't paralyzed. You still run your mouth all the time.
I don't get no slack cut since the injury. 0. She's still on my ass.
Stop. Anyway. Well, thanks for tuning back in, everyone. Check us out on Instagram at Wife of Crime Pod, and Facebook at Wife of Crime The Crime Family, and TikTok at Wife of Crime Pod, because your girl has been TikToking more lately.
Yeah, you know what happened? She got this new skin regimen.
I did.
And she wants people to see her skin glow.
So my body from the neck down is black girl skin, from Black Girl Shower Talk, because I do my whole Black girl skin routine. Thank you to all the amazing Black women who didn't gatekeep, and I learned so much from you. And from the neck up, my face is K-Beauty, aka Korean Beauty. I have a whole entire Korean beauty routine, and my skin is glowing. And even, yesterday, Russ said my skin was glowing.
Yeah, it's more shiny.
It's glowing. Not shiny like oily, glowing.
Well, maybe you could do mine.
I mean, I can, but it's kind of a long process. It takes me like 5 to 7 minutes, so that's a lot for you to sit through. I don't know if you could sit through all that.
Well, I think for the record, I don't think anyone sits more than me.
Russ!
I don't think there's anyone that does. I don't get up all day.
Oh my God.
All I do is I get down. Ready to get down, baby?
God. All right, everybody. Well, have a wonderful week. We will talk to you later. Check us out on Instagram at Wife of Crime Pod, Facebook, Wife of Crime, The Crime Family, wifeofcrime.com for all the merch, and patreon.com at Wife of Crime Pod. Talk to you later. Bye.
Catch me outside.